All right, let's get into scheduling for this week. And this week here, there's a combination of some models not scheduling and some that are, because we're still working on October's allocations for this week. So we're still not refreshed for November yet. That again typically doesn't happen. I think we have to have our OTD everything in by the 8th. In fact, today is when we actually give them what allocations we want to take and receive or request for any more. I think so. I think most dealers have to have theirs done by the 8th. So probably next week is when we're going to see scheduling for November's dates or November's allocations. So again, we're still working on October's here. So let's dive in here and talk about terminology. Some of the stuff might be new. So let's talk about what's allocations mean and what is scheduling and what does all this mean. So let's dive in here. All right. So order bank, that is where your orders are placed, whether it be a stock order by a dealer or a retail order that is a customer placed order in the system. So those are placed in what they call the WebDose system or the ordering system or order bank for dealers. So when you're ordering, you're actually ordering a order from the dealer. The dealer places the order on your behalf. So you're actually not ordering it straight from Ford. You're ordering it from your dealer who places the order, and then it's placed in there's a retail order. Now, priority codes are given to all orders, whether it be retail or a stock. Retail is an 03 to 19. Anywhere in there, that can be the reason there is those different numbers is it helps the dealership stack their orders how they need to. Maybe there might be an order that's been in there for a while, and like, you know what, this is just not scheduling. Let's move it up to the top, move it to an 03. The default is 19 in the system. Now, some dealers like us, what we always automatically will do is we place an order in the system, we go ahead and make it a 10. That's just a default. All of ours should be in there as 10s. Sometimes we'll leave a 19 on maybe some of our orders, but typically all customer orders are going to be a 10 for us. 20 to 80 is stock orders. So when Ford pumps in an order, puts in an order for a dealer that they cannot delete, by the way, they'll put it in as a priority 80. When we place our own orders, we like to place them as a 20. So that kind of helps us kind of manage our orders that way. The lower, the better. So that's why retail orders are always going to be looked at before a stock order when it comes to scheduling for production dates, which is the next phrase. Scheduling. That is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in the future months. So they usually schedule those on Thursdays. So that's typically when you'll see those. Production date. That is when Ford takes an order and they schedule it for a production date, and they give it they're going to produce it this week or whatever. And those dates can move around depending on supply, demand, maybe being behind at the factory, something like that. Allocations. Now, Ford gives allocations to dealers to schedule their orders. So an order just because an order is in the order bank doesn't mean it can get scheduled. Without an allocation, it can't be. So a dealer needs an allocation to schedule those orders that are already in the order bank. And a dealer earns those allocations based on their sales for each of the model within their region. And actually, they're changing that now. Now it's within the state. That has actually just been a change here recently within this month. Constraints, that is options that may be in short supply or take longer to build. So if there's the capacity, which is the next phrase there, is the planned production rate for a particular motor, trim, or option. If the orders are higher than the capacity, there's one of the constraints right there. But also, let's say their planned capacity can change based on the supplier they're getting parts from. And again, they're an assembly plant, and so that's how so they're assembling the vehicles and putting parts on it based on the supplies that they get from other people. And so sometimes that can change that. Job 1 and 2, that is a production run within a model year. It's split into two because sometimes if there's something that's not quite ready when the launch of the model, they still need to launch that and get production running. So that'll be job 1. And then if there's a new trim, something else that they want to introduce into the middle of the model year, they'll make that a job 2 change in production. Or if there's an issue with supplies and they cannot be able to fulfill what they need, they'll change the packaging of a vehicle. They just did that with Explorer recently, made some significant job 2 changes based on the supply issues they were having and getting those different parts for that. So they had to change the packaging of their vehicles because of it. And then they balance out. That is when it's the end of production, balance out for the model year or on a particular color or something like that. We actually have seen that happen with the Explorer, where they actually stopped making silver and then they introduced space white into some models that needed another color option because they did away with silver. So that sometimes happens. All right, first up, 25 model year Mustang. Currently 775 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. They are not scheduled this week, and the order banks are open, by the way, so you can place an order for a Mustang. No scheduling this week, and there are some notes in here, but with no scheduling this week, really those notes don't really mean too much because they could change next week if they decide to schedule. Next up, 25 model year Escape. There's currently 120 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year, and this week they are not planning to schedule for the Escape plant. No other notes there. Next up, 25 model year Bronco Sport. There's currently 145 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up right now for all different trim levels, as well as those Sasquatch packages are available to order as well. They are scheduling this week for production weeks 12/2 through 12/16. They're taking a little bit longer than expected to schedule out those December build dates, and they still have January to build out as well. They're probably going to do that at the beginning of November, it probably looks like at this point. And then they are doing cleanup scheduling. So a dealer needs an allocation. They're going to try to fulfill those last allocations. So this is the best bet if you're a dealer out there trying to use those allocations, and maybe you need to put a stock order in. It says only the Big Bend version with the Black Diamond off-road package will be selected for December scheduling. Capacity for all other series has been exhausted after the commitment on 10/31. So last week they fulfilled most everything. They are needing some Big Bend Black Diamond off-road package vehicles. That's pretty much what they're looking at the schedule this week. So that's why, dealers, it's important to read your notes. If you have an allocation that's not been used, right, you may not want a Black Diamond package Big Bend. We've had pretty good luck with them, but if not, then that allocation might get pushed into next month. So, all right. Yeah, it does say in here, adding the Black Diamond off-road package will improve your order timing for the Big Bend orders. January scheduling will occur 11/14 for Job 1 balance out, with limited availability for all series, it says. And then it says Sasquatch Outer Banks package and Sasquatch Badlands package will be available for Q1. So we know those are going to be scheduled for those February production dates. All right. It says we will be taking retail orders for Sasquatch package, but will not schedule until Job 2. Limited availability for the Black Appearance package. And, well, we talked about exhausted about everything else. So there you go. All right. Next up is the 24 model year Bronco. There's currently 153 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank for that. And actually, the order banks are open up for the 25 model year. No pricing yet. Maybe this week. We can always hope, right? No scheduling this week. In fact, it says in here, 24 model year has balanced out. So there's going to be no more scheduling for 24 model year Bronco. They're going to start scheduling for 25 model year probably next week. But there's not any orders in there because nobody wants to order without knowing the price. So hopefully we find something out this week so that dealers can get orders placed. Next up is the 24 model year Mach-E. There's currently 34 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year right now. There is not going to be any scheduling this week. Again, a lot of times it's just, hey, if they haven't fulfilled what they need to for the plant for those December build dates, then they'll schedule. But most of them you're seeing aren't scheduling because they're done. They're ready. They're ready to move on to January's production dates. And so this kind of looks like to me on the Mach-E, that might be in the same situation there. It doesn't say that they're balanced out for 24 because next month's supposed to be 25. But I think that might be the scenario there. Next up, 25 model year Explorer, currently 425 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year with the new Job 2 shift and changes to some of those. So definitely want to check and see what's different about those. And maybe I need to do a video on that because there are some pretty big changes. No scheduling this week. Again, they've probably scheduled out their December production already. Next up, Expedition. So we're gonna say 24 model year Expedition. 24 model year Expedition has balanced out. There's currently 207 orders. I will say orders in the order bank unscheduled for the Expedition. Some of those could be 25 model year. I think that's a combination of both because that number seemed to go up. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. And it does say 25 model year will start scheduling. Okay, it hasn't started scheduling yet. I think it's going to be like next week or the week after. So, all right. Next up, 25 model year Maverick. There's currently 3,200 exactly unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. They will be scheduled this week. They are trying to clean up and finish out December's scheduling for those build dates, December 2nd through the week of December 16th. Local version will not be scheduled yet. That is going to be scheduled for February build date. So that'll happen probably here next week, or actually, I've heard later in November. Right now, it says best availability to get an order scheduled if you have an allocation that needs to be used. XL version, XLT version with the black appearance package, Lariat version. Limited availability for the all-wheel drive, and very limited to exhausted for the trailer hitch receiver with the 4-pin and 7-pin. So that's your 4K tow package. That's been heavily ordered, it looks like. And then also the all-season tire, which is standard on the XL and XLT version. So there you go. All right, next up is the 24 model year Ranger. There are currently 323 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. In fact, the 24 model year is balanced out. They've already planned theirs out, just like with the Bronco. That plant is done, ready, scheduled out 24 model year. They're ready for next week or the week after to start scheduling for 25 model year. So, and the order banks are open up for the 25 with pricing and build and price as well. All right, next up, 25 model year Super Duty. There's currently 9,306 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year, and they've started scheduling for the 25 model year at Kentucky. So this week, they are going to schedule 25 model year for the Kentucky truck plant for the weeks of 12/9 through 12/16 that week, and 24 model year scheduling for Ohio assembly plant for 12/16 through 1/13. So they are in different scheduling of model years. So they're not done with Ohio with those cabin chassis and such. So they're carrying those over into January. All right. It does say in here that this is 24 model year balance out scheduling for Ohio truck plant. And so there you go. There you go. Very, very limited to exhausted for these following features: the crew cab version, the Lariat version, the 20-inch polished and dark carbonized gray high gloss painted aluminum wheel with a hot gloss black hub cover center ornaments that's standard on the limited F250 and F350 single rear wheel. Also, the wheel option, that was wheel option 64L, by the way. Wheel option 643, the 20-inch bright machine cast aluminum with the caribou painted pockets. That requires the TCW tire. That's the standard on F250 and F350 single wheel King Ranch. So that's the King Ranch wheel. Also, the 193-inch wheelbase. That's optional on XL and XLT chassis cabs. Also, limited to exhausted. The Dana Axle M300. That's the heavy-duty rear. That's optional on the F450, 550 dual rear wheel chassis cabs with the 6.7 liter or the F600 with the 7.3 liter engine. Also, the option 90M, the max recline seats that is available on the King Ranch, Platinum, and Limited pickup. Also, option 18B, the platform running boards is optional on the XL and XLT. The 15J, which is a gooseneck hitch kit, that's optional on all versions. And wheelbase, the 203-inch wheelbase fuel tank with the low sulfur diesel fuel, that's option 98L. And then the flow-through console that's standard on King Ranch Platinum Limited and optional on the XLT and Lariat. 97% of Lariats, I should get that. Those are all very limited to exhausted availability on those. So take note of that. Next up is the 25 model year F-150. There's currently 2,971 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year. They are scheduled this week for production dates the week of 12/9 and the week of 12/16. Cleanup commitment for those allocations. Again, this is finishing out October's allocations. Limit availability for the 801A Raptor without the tonneau covers or the twin panel moonroof. So, and then limit availability for the 3.5 liter engine and the Raptor R and the Raptor 37, as well as the 64X wheel, which is an 18-inch gloss black wheel that's standard on the STX 200B. that's new for this year, and also included in the XLT Black Appearance Package, and also included in the Lariat Black Appearance Package on the 500A. So there you go. There's those changes there. They did schedule a lot of 3.5 liter engines, so that's probably why it's constrained. So you probably need to look at the 2.7 or the 5.0 if you want yours scheduled. All right, next up is a 24 model year Transit. The order banks are open up for the 25 model year at this point. There's currently 1,806 unscheduled retail orders in the order bank. That really dropped this week. They are scheduled for production weeks 12/9 through 12/16. Those would be for 24 model years. This is balance out scheduling for the Transit. Transit orders with the Transit Trail will not be selected for scheduling. In fact, I don't think you can order one right now because they told us in a note that that's not happening. And then also spec change and cancellations for scheduled orders are shut off on 11/1, it says. So that's already done. Very limited to exhaust availability for the option 61D. That's the 360-degree camera with the split view and front washer, right? Front camera and washer. And then also the 5th row double seating configuration as well. So there you go. So that's all of our scheduling information for this week. And if you have any questions, of course, we are recording this, the live stream today. So as well as the scheduling video. So drop those in the comments. We'll try to get those answered as much as we can. If you drop it during the live stream, we probably won't be answering it because, again, it is a recorded live stream. So there you go. All right.